get started with my lesson. I'm Miss Lauren. You can call me Miss Lauren. My name is Miss Lauren Hihar, but I think Lauren is a little bit easier for most everybody, children and grown-ups, to say. I've been in your classroom quite a bunch this year. You might have seen me in the back of the room. Sometimes I'm in here during writing. Sometimes I'm in here during reading. I also got to work with some of you when we did our interview around school. I walked around with Michael and with Chaden and had a chance to do that. Well, today I'm going to do a writing lesson for you. So I get invited into classrooms to talk about writing, and today we're going to talk about a new kind of writing. You've done narrative writing, which is when you tell a story, right? You've done writing for a reason, which is when you try to convince somebody to think the way that you do. You've done writing about yourselves. Haven't you written books about yourselves and the things you do? Today we're going to work on informational writing, which is a totally different kind of writing. So I'm going to start this whole unit. I'm so lucky to be here on the first day of your unit because this is the beginning of your writing informational texts. And I thought we would start by looking at some. So I'm going to look at some with you. This is an informational text right out of your classroom library. It's really short. I think you guys could write books at least as long as this one. We're going to start with a small one and then we'll read some longer ones too. So this one is called Our Heroes. It's by Brenda Parks. Our Heroes. We see our heroes in pictures. We see our heroes on stamps. We see our heroes on statues. We see our heroes on monuments.
Of monuments.
Monuments?
Yeah.
This one is a monument, correct?
Of rocks.
It is made of rocks. Many heroes are brave. Some heroes lead the way. Other heroes help people. Who are your heroes? So the author ended the book with a question. I don't want to talk about who your heroes are right now. I want to talk about what makes this book an informational book. So I'm going to read actually one more short one to you. It's a little bit longer, but this will give us two books to talk about. This one is not about heroes, but it's also informational. Then I'm going to give you a chance to read a book look at a book with a partner too, okay? So this one is called Fantastic Fish by Elizabeth Bennet. Are you noticing anything at all that these books have in common so far? I want you to think about things that they have in common. Heroes, fish. Are you thinking, Michael? Okay.
I love fish.
Hold that thought and we'll talk about it.
Mom,
This
I'm
book,
about to buy me a fish tank.
we can't talk about your fish now, but you might be able to write a book about fish, Jeremiah. Contents. So we have a table of contents in this book. You may have seen one of these before. It tells us that chapter 1 is Meet the Fish. Chapter 2 is Fish Skills. Chapter 3 is Amazing Fish. Here's chapter 1, Meet the Fish. Fish have been around for more than 450 million years. That's in this picture. What kind of animals are right at home in the water? The answer is fish. What makes a fish a fish? Fish have fins and tails for swimming. They also have gills for getting oxygen from the water so they can breathe. Then we have this picture about fish parts. You might have heard of some of these before. They have fins, scales, eye, gill cover, tail. Is this book about heroes? No. It's about fish. Have you noticed that this book has facts about fish? What are facts?
I
You know what
see a shark.
facts are?
I see a shark.
Okay, yeah. So here is a page about freshwater fish and a page about saltwater fish. I noticed that this author gives me different pictures on this page. Different fish live in different places. Some fish live in rivers, streams, brooks, lakes, and ponds. This kind of water is called fresh water. Okay, are you ready to tell me some things that you're noticing? Yes, Sean. You want to talk to me about fish? I want to talk about the types of books these are. I think fish are really interesting, and that's why I picked a book on fish. But I could also read a book about volcanoes And this is an informational text. Matt, they got excited about volcanoes.
If you go in there, it will fly you up.
I imagine we would learn some things about volcanoes by reading this book. I brought my own. I've been working on an informational book about one of my favorite subjects, which is Disney World. Mine isn't as sophisticated as fish or volcanoes, but I have a table of contents in my book. I have some bold words in my book, and I'll happily read my book to you too. But I want to talk about what these books have in common. They have some features in all of them. So can you talk to me about what information means? What does it mean if you have information, Tristan?
It means we can do something or not.
Okay, it means we can do something or not. I don't know what you mean, but I'd like you to tell me more about it. We read a book about heroes. Can people be heroes?
Yes.
Surely, right? Can we learn about fish?
Yes.
Sure. Can we learn about heroes?
Yes.
Can we learn about Disney World?
Yes.
We probably should if we're going to go, right? So all of these books are teaching books. So when I say these books are teaching books, that means they teach you about a topic. These books have words. What else do they have? You need to look at them again? Do you want to look at one with a partner?
Yes.
You do? This is another informational text about doctors. We need doctors. So I'm going to hand a book out to you, and I want you, do you have partners that they generally work with, or just someone near, so you guys want to work with your, what is it?
Peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly. Are you sitting near one another? So if you guys would get in your peanut butter jelly partners, I will get books out to you, and I want you to notice things about, listen carefully because I haven't given you all my instructions. I want you to notice what the book I give you has that the other books that we read had. Okay? Okay, I'm not done with you looking at books. One of the things that writers do when they learn about how other authors write is they look at examples of good writing. And I've given you some great examples of informational text. Do you see things in these books that you saw in these books? Even if they're not about the same thing, what things did the authors of your books do that the authors of these books did? Michael, what did you notice? Okay, so what is your book about? Oh, okay, so Michael has a book. If you guys could listen, please, because we learn about writing by talking about writing, but you can't learn without listening. So Michael's book is a book about builders, and it's things that builders do. Builders are people that build things, okay? Chaden?
Mine is about snakes.
Okay, so Chaden has a book about snakes and other reptiles. Matthew?
Mine is about lava.
Yours is about lava. It's about volcanoes.
This is the page. I don't know why it has a lot of lava.
Okay, so it focuses on a certain topic about volcanoes. Yes.
Our book is about frogs.
Okay, so your book is about frogs. So I'm going to write something down. I'm going to write that these books are about science topics. Sometimes they're about social studies topics. Can you think of some that are about science? Who of you has books that are about science? All of my animals books are science topics. My books about places and people are social studies topics. Raise your book up, raise your book up if it had pictures in it. Your books had illustrations. Were they real were they photographs or were they hand-drawn? Hand-drawn, do you know the difference? This is a hand-drawn illustration, quite obviously, because I drew them. I'm not an artist, but I'm trying. So these are hand-drawn illustrations, whereas these are photographs. Someone actually took a picture. Which did yours have? Photographs or hand-drawn? Photographs. So okay guys, stay focused with me. So yours have illustrations. Did any of your illustrations have labels? Labels like this one, where it pointed out parts of a fish. Did any of them have labels? They did? Thank you for raising your hand. My volcano book has labels. I know it does. There's even a diagram of a volcano in that book. Okay? So, now, if I could get my partners to turn and look at me, I want to see peanut butter faces and jelly faces too. Turn your body, Sean. Thank you so much. Okay. Are these books stories?
Yeah.
This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, like you've been writing? These don't sound like stories to me. I'm going to read my book to you now. I could write many stories about Walt Disney World because I like it very much. This is not a story. I'll tell you that. It's an informational story. Informational text. So I have a table of contents. Page 2 is all about fun in the theme parks. Page 3 is about places that you can stay. And page 4 is about getting around Walt Disney World. So this page is all about theme parks. Walt Disney World has 4 theme parks. They are Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. Do you see the theme parks? Did I tell you about a time I went there? That's not what this book is. This is not a story of my trip to it. This is a story about it. Places to stay. Disney World has many resort hotels. Guests staying at these hotels have privileges, like extra magic hours. And then my picture has my picture has labels. There are deluxe hotels, like this one, the Polynesian. There are moderate hotels for people who don't maybe want to spend quite as much money, like this one, Port Orleans. And then there are value resorts for people that are looking to travel at a discount, like this one, Pop Century. Is this about a time I went to Disney World?
No.
This is all about Disney World. Getting around. I didn't finish this page, so as I'm reading this page, maybe you can help me think about what I could add to the picture so that my words match my pictures. Getting around. Transportation inside the resort is easy. There are monorails, buses, and even boats to take guests from one resort to another. Is there a part of that picture that I could add? I have monorails and I have buses. What type of transportation did I not include? Boats, right? So, and then I have a glossary. At the back of my book, this is a list of words that are defined. Can you look in your books to see if they have a glossary? You're going to find it at the end, like mine.
I found it.
So did you find the end? Does it have a glossary? I see an index, a word list. You have a glossary? That's the beginning page. Let's look at the end. This is what it looks like in those science animal books. Oh, you found a glossary and it looks totally different, doesn't it, John? Can you hold that one up? It doesn't look totally different, but he found a glossary. You have a picture word list, which is like a glossary. So I'm going to add a glossary. A glossary is a list of words that are defined. In this fish book, it's things like scales and cold-blooded. Okay, you guys can put your books down. And here is what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to think about something that you know well enough that you could write an informational book about. So it cannot be a story of your life. It's got to be something that you know very well, that you do, or a place you've been, or a person in your life. Can you think about an informational topic while I add to our list? Okay? face forward, please. I heard some great topics for informational texts up here. Kira, is it Kira? Is that right? She knows about Barbies. She knows about the Barbie Dream House. She could write an informational book about Barbies. So she could have illustrations of the different Barbies, what the dream house looks like, accessories and toys you could have to add to your Barbies, right? So that's a topic that she could write about. I heard Jeremiah write about, he said he knows enough about apples. He could write an informational text about apples. What did you have, Aiden, as an idea? Your neighbor? Okay, so your neighbor didn't come over today. That sounds like a story to me, when you expected your neighbor to come over and maybe your neighbor didn't. But you could write a book about your neighbors, who the people are who live around you. You just can't tell a story about them. Not this time. Mrs. Ladwick, did you guys have some informational topics back there?
We did. Matt Bay had, and Caitlin also had a good one.
Matt Bay, what was your idea?
Minecraft.
Okay, so you play Minecraft?
I wanted it on my Wii U, but my dad didn't let me because it cost that much money.
Okay, I am going to tell you that sounds like a story. He said, my dad didn't let me because. That's a story, but could you write about playing Minecraft and the different creatures in Minecraft and the different ways to build a mine? That's not a story, is it? This whole unit, Miss Ladwig and Miss Mann, and I'm going to be back, and Miss Jones are going to be getting you to write not a story this time around. So you need to think about your topic and think about a way to make it a not a story book. What was yours? What could you write an informational book about? A movie? So is it a movie you've seen? Okay, so about a movie, maybe the actors that were in it and such. Yes, Michael?
My favorite was about workers that pick up dirt and workers that think out oil.
Okay, so Michael would like to write a book about workers, kind of like the book he has about builders. Yes?
And I'm going to write Star Wars.
Star Wars, okay, so you could certainly write, it's going to be a hot topic, right? You cannot have you seen The Force Awakens? Okay, don't ruin it for everybody. But, so you could write about the different characters in Star Wars, right? You could write about the battle between, the First Order and the Resistance. But you can't retell the whole story. You could feature the people. I have lots of nonfiction books at my house about Star Wars. I might bring some of those in for you guys because I have a kindergarten son at home, and so he likes to read a lot about Star Wars. So what your job is going to be is to think about something that you know enough about that you could write a book that teaches. This is a teaching book. It's not a storytelling book. It's a teaching book.
This morning, looks like you're writing about your house.
Yeah, I have to go.
Your home. Would you read it for me?
Oh, where's this part? Where's this part?
Those are facts.
Why does the camera
You have so many facts on this page. I think you're probably ready for another page, don't you? What else are you going to talk about in your home or in a home? You don't know. You have some options. Do you remember this book that went by time? One thing you could do with your book is, in my house, at what time do you wake up? Do you think maybe 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
You could do what happens at your house at different times of the day, if you know those. Another thing you could do is now talk about the rooms in your house. Each room could have its own page. What else could you write about your house? Talk to me about house keeping you safe, because you said it here. What makes a house safe? like we had last night. There was some weather last night and your roof kept you safe. So you want to write a page about how your house is safe because of the roof and the walls. I think that's a good next page. Can you get a page? I think you're ready. You want it to look like this again? Okay, so talk to me. Let's plan this page before you start. What do you want this page to say? Okay, so what could you, are you going to label it like these label things? Safe house or my house is safe, or are you just going to write sentences? Either way is good. You just have labels. So what would be a good label for a page about your house being safe? I love it. I love it. So that would be first, right? Or you could try to put it up here. Either way. Okay. And what's the picture? How is the picture on safe house going to be different from that picture? Could you label them?
No.
Roof? And I think you should definitely include details about a lightning storm too. Okay? I think you're ready. It sounds like you're ready. Do you want me to leave any of these near you? This one isn't about houses, but it's got labels, right? And it's got big words, like safe house. So I'll leave this one near, just in case you want to look at it. Thanks, Abe. Volcanoes. Okay, so you have a topic. That's good. All about books or informational texts have topics. What are you going to say about volcanoes? Because these books, this one is about police officers, but it's got details about police officers. What details can you tell me about volcanoes? What do you know about them? Okay, so volcanoes have lava. That would be a good next thing to write. Volcanoes have lava. All right?
How they want to organize
Are
it.
you
If
going
they're
to do
adding
that?
gold, some of them are adding golden print and labels, whatever we've talked about.
Volcanoes have
We're
lava.
going to do a table of contents. Let's talk about our ideas.
Right, so now you need to write have lava. Can I hear you? Can you stretch it out? Is that your space marker?
Let me get a book.
Stretch out have. I want to see it. Listen. Have. What sound do you hear at the end of have?
Okay, you're writing the book about happy, right?
I do hear a V. No. I heard that A, but at the end I heard a V. I heard a have. You told me they have lava.
Shows us a picture of what it's about. So what do you want to say first about the house? What do you want to say first about the house?
That's a sentence, right? All right, so what would you do now? In that sentence, what would you do? What else can you write about volcanoes? What else do you know about volcanoes? Or about lava? There were some volcano books. Did you look at the volcano books? You can also label it. Where is the lava in your volcano?
What sounded out?
Oh, so you can label that? Put it here. Label it like these ones. Like this one, right? A label. You can even do a close-up of lava right here if you wanted. Okay. But with the word lava.
Good. So the first thing you say comes
What's going to be the next page in your book? What is it going to be about? It's got to be something. Are you going to do a whole book about volcanoes, or are you going to do a book about volcanoes and hurricanes and
on.
earthquakes and other dangerous things. Do you want a book about dangerous things, or is your book all about volcanoes?
Wait. In that place.
So your next one could be about hurricanes or lightning storms.
Every day.
Oh, I like it. I want to see a label, and then you're ready for another page. You can do that, sure. So that's what you're going to do. So you're writing a book all about our school. What does this page say about our school?
Did you want about tomorrow?
Okay, so and then you're going to use your spacer and the word. Okay, so this page is all about BCA, the building, the school, and you're planning it with your table of contents. That's what I really wanted to talk about. So this part is about the school. This is going to be page 1.
How many E's is
The
it?
students will be page 2.
And then if it's more than one tree, it's trees.
What else can you tell me about our building?
So it's good.
So
now,
the good guy
This right here, what do you think your picture is going to be on that? An apple tree.
Oh, what is it? Always raining outside? What's not raining today? So if you're going to write an all about book, it has to be about stuff that you would say happens most of the time. Something about our school is it's a clean school, isn't it? What are these rooms called in our school? Oh, so you could write that our school has.
Okay.
What else does our school building have?
Brown.
It has a cafeteria. All of these would be good details about the building. Don't you? I think you can add more details about our school building on this page.
Red apples around it.
BCA has a cafeteria. BCA has a classroom. BCA has
Apple. Oh, you know.
a. And do you think any of those would make
about
good bold words?
Should we write apple colors? So let's write apple and the word colors.
Classroom would make a very good bold word. I'd like to see you try bold words on this page. I would. Can you try that when you write about classrooms? BCA has a classroom. Is that okay?
Okay. So now we have
All of that still fits in page 1, right?
apple colors.
I would think so.
Apple
Do
tree.
you have questions for me about writing this?
One more thing about apples. What else do you want to write about apples? So we have the color.